It has been a while since I've travelled for a CEX, but let's do it. I've got a day in the house on my own today, and fuel's cheap over there, so I might as well go fuel up there. We're going to go to Cannock today. I tell you what is a problem though. I have ran out of space on my shelf for PlayStation 4 due to the fact that a couple of the games that I've gotten in the last few months are like the collections that take up more space than a normal game would. Like the Yakuza Remastered collection's pretty thick. The Mafia Definitive collection, pretty thick. I've got a couple of steelbooks with a sleeve on that make them a bit thicker. I've run out of space. I didn't anticipate running out of space. So it is a real good thing that I said I were going to get rid of the Xbox One stuff at some point, because that's going to make some space. Especially when I've got Game Pass as well. And a lot of my Xbox One games are already on Game Pass, and I'd rather own them physically on the PlayStation 4. Somebody asked me, why do I prefer PlayStation? And honestly, it's just the cases are prettier. There's no real reason. Games seem to play pretty much identically these days. Back in the PS3 360 era, it seemed like some games were meant for the 360 and didn't perform as well on the PlayStation 3. But PlayStation 4 onwards, it's just a case of preference, and when it comes to physical collecting, I'd rather have the PlayStation 4 case versus the Xbox One case, or the PlayStation 5 case versus the Xbox One case, because they're exactly the same case. So, yeah, I need to make some more space on my shelves, which is a problem, because I'm pretty sure that a couple of the games that I intend to go and get today are in fact PlayStation 4 games. So that might be a little bit of a thing that I need to look at doing. We'll see. You know, I say let's go, but that was actually supposed to be a transition into waiting for my partner to get home from the gym so that I can then take her to her mum's house, because her and her mum are going to some ABBA-themed party. Does anyone else's partner do this, where they are obsessed with ABBA? Like to the point where like 3 or 4 times a year they'll go to an ABBA-themed party? I can't relate. But she's going to go do that, and while she's out, I'm going to go CEX hunting. Also, by the way, I've reordered the Yakuza games that came and failed the CEX lottery from the other day. He is hoping they come better this time. So that's Yakuza 6 that came as a PlayStation Hits one that I didn't want, and Yakuza Kiwami that was a reprinted cover and shouldn't have been. I also ordered one other game that I'm really struggling to get, even though it's not that rare of a game, nor is it that expensive. It just never seems to be in any of my locals, like in the space that I'm willing to drive to anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, in the next clip, we'll head out to Cannock. See you there. So you might have to excuse the footage and it being shaky because I'm no longer on a gimbal. But I'm using my phone because I did back out of going on this trip because we just had a torrential thunderstorm. Like, it was the worst rain I've ever seen. So I was like, I'll go tomorrow. I ain't doing it. But then the sun's come out and the rain has stopped, but I don't have my camera on me now, but I still want to go. So I'm going to record with my phone. There's not going to be too much footage. So I'll switch back to my camera once I get the games home. Let's go. Okay, made it to Stafford Cannock. Fuel here is always so cheap. It's like 8p cheaper than our local. I'm going to walk across now to the CEX, hopefully not get wet. Everywhere was so flooded on the way here. The amount of times, the entire motorway was stuck at 40 because surface water, not good. This CEX always has some cool stuff. Like, whenever I see a boxed Game Boy Advance game, I get thrown right back to my childhood. The feel of it, the smell of it. Also, look at some of these Pokemon games and how expensive they're getting now. A lot of cardboard here. I'm not typically one to collect cardboard because it seems risky. It's in not brilliant condition a lot of the time, and the stickers they put on things just wreck it. There's some games in here that I struggle to find, like that Shadow of the Colossus collection. Just a lot of stuff though. PS4 selection looking maybe a little bit sparse with how much is front facing, but they tend to have a decent chunk of PS3 stuff. I'm on the lookout for like steelbooks and things like that, but realistically there's not too many more things that I'm after at the minute. I nearly picked up that PS3 Stick of Truth because I'm after the PS4 version, but I decided against getting the PS3 version. I noticed the Silent Hill 4 down here for PC, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't think I've ever run into that before. I keep running into the PS2 version though, but I got mine before the current price hike. Let's see if I can get back to the car before it inevitably starts chucking it down again, because it looks like it's going to, and I don't have my jacket with me. Got some games though. Quickly popped into Asda while I'm here, because you just never know what they're going to have. Sometimes things are dead cheap, sometimes the things are new and about the same price as they are at CEX. Luigi's Mansion 2 up here is more expensive at CEX, weirdly. Well, I made it back to the car just as the rain started again. I don't know if it's going to get quite as torrential as it was, but it was bad before. So at least I managed to not get wet at all. And interestingly, my partner's just texted me to say that her Mamma Mia thing has been cancelled. What it was supposed to be is outdoor cinema, watching both the Mamma Mia films, but obviously with this weather, that would not have worked out quite well. So I don't have to fetch her later anymore because the person who took her there is bringing her straight back. Lovely stuff. I made it back. The weather took a turn, and I've still yet to get wet. I'm gonna give it a minute and hope that it calms down again before I go in. I can hear thunder. Christ. Right, I'm home, we're back. It feels dark in here because of how dark it is outside. But we're back on the camera, as you can probably tell now that things are a little bit more stabilised because the gimbal's doing the gimbal thing. Let's go through what I got. I got a couple of things that... One of them is a recommendation based upon a previous haul that I had of a series of games that I haven't played before. Okay, so first of all, we've got Metro Exodus, the Complete Edition. I'm unsure if the PlayStation 5 version makes a difference when it comes to this game, because PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 are so close to the same anyway that I don't know. But I know that the Metro series is supposed to be really good. Metro 2033 is one of those that I think I've started like twice, but never really was able to get into. But it has been many, many, many years, like before I ever bothered with the gamelog and just never stopped. Like, nowadays I don't start a game and ever stop, really. It's very rare. But I needed this to complete my collection. And hey, another PlayStation 5 game to add to the list, although another port up from the PlayStation 4, sadly. Anyway, after that, this is an interesting one. We got Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package. I'm pretty sure that Dead Rising 4 was supposed to be an Xbox exclusive, or at least timed, and then they made this version of it for the PlayStation 4. It's not a very good game. I don't really like Dead Rising 4 very much at all. In fact, I said last time I played through the Dead Rising games that if I were to play them again, I'd probably skip it. But in reality, I probably won't skip Dead Rising 4 next time I play, because the next time I play will be playing for YouTube videos. So, but the time after that, I will skip it. So the next time I play Dead Rising 4 will be my final time playing Dead Rising 4. But I needed the PlayStation 4 version of it because, like I said before, I'm in the process of slowly but surely replacing all of my Xbox One stuff. And then finally, this was the one that was the recommendation, Transformers Devastation. This game is getting pretty spenny. People talk about Transformers War for Cybertron and Battle for Cybertron, or whatever the hell they're called. These two, War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. They're apparently two of the best games that Transformers ever made, and they're also getting pretty expensive, and people talk about how they're getting pretty expensive. But last time I did my haul and I showed off all of my Transformers games, so there's these 5 here, and then a couple for the PlayStation 2. A lot of people said, oh, you don't have Transformers Devastation, that's a good one. And I was like, oh, well, if it's a good one, I might as well get it then. This does also have a PlayStation 3 version, which was way, way cheaper, and I was considering getting that instead, but I often end up with PlayStation 4 stuff just because it's probably the superior version. Like, for example, I'm after South Park Stick of Truth on PlayStation 4 to replace my 360 version of it, because, you know, and I saw the PlayStation 3 version of South Park Stick of Truth today, and it was like £3 versus like 25 quid for the PS4 version, and I nearly got it, but I was like, there's no point in getting the PS3 version when I have the 360 version, when there is a PlayStation 4 version. I might as well just spend the money and get the better version, you know? Granted, a bit of a problem. I'm going to need to rearrange my shelves because, as you can see, it's full. It's because of all these special versions, like Yakuza, Mafia, this Bayonetta thing back here. So if I just come down here, I think I'm gonna have to like shimmy everything down a shelf and then work out what of my Xbox One stuff can go, because a lot of it can. I'll keep anything that's an exclusive, like the Gears of War games, but a lot of it can go now. Like, I've got South Park Fractured Butthole here as well, look, so I've got it on PS... How much did it cost when I bought it here? £10. So, yeah, but Tomb Raider, all of them, Shadow of Mordor and War I've got already, Century 4, the Resident Evils, Red Dead. So much of this Xbox One shelf is entirely redundant, and it would create a lot more space for me to get more stuff. So, a re-jimmy is in order. Look how tall that looks while we're down here, by the way. Also, whenever I do these hauls, tons of you guys are not already subscribed, so if we could fix that, that'd be pretty cool. But also, a lot of my 360 games can probably be removed from my shelf too. Like, I've got the Dead Space games all on PS3, and I'm pretty sure those are reprinted covers anyway. Same thing goes with Dragon Age. Same thing goes with Raging Blast and the HD collection for Budokai. That's definitely real, my Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition, but I just got that on PS3 anyway. The Fallout New Vegas is a reprinted cover, so there's just tons that can be moved and jimmied around. So there's definitely going to be space. It's just a case of I need to work out how to best arrange to create said space and make it look not weird, because obviously we've already got this transition here from 360 into Wii, and then like a bit of extra stuff on the back here of just miscellaneous PC, GameCube, original Xbox and PSP stuff. I think it's going to be one of them where for a while there's probably going to be... Ideally, I think what would be perfect is if I lose the Xbox One shelf entirely besides exclusives, and then move what I can of the 360 stuff down to it, and maybe consolidate the 360 stuff down into just this one shelf, which frees up an entire row for PlayStation stuff once more. Because that would be okay. I'm not entirely keen on having like PS4 stuff and Xbox stuff on the same shelf, but I think in the meantime, I'm probably going to have to. I don't think there's another way of going about doing it. Oh, also, one of the other collectors I follow got a disc that was knackered from CEX the other day, and I was like, I buy a lot of games and I never check the discs. I should probably start doing that. Oh, I'll tell you something else that I nearly bought today, but I didn't buy. Silent Hill Homecoming on the PlayStation 3, because again, with my efforts to recollect a lot of games on PlayStation 3 instead, because I just prefer those cases, the two Silent Hill games are probably some of the more expensive ones to get. So for example, my Silent Hill Downpour for the 360 cost me £32. I think it's £70. I saw this today in Cannock, and yeah, I wouldn't even get rid of them. I'd just keep them so that whenever I do videos being like, here's my Silent Hill collection, I could just be like, yeah, I've got them twice, because I think that kind of looks cool. But just looking at this, I'm trying to judge what can and can't stay. And it's like Jericho, for example, I have the Steelbook version of for PlayStation 3, so that's a little bit redundant. And then up here, Devil May Cry is a franchise that I love, so I'll probably keep it anyway, but I've got two versions of Devil May Cry 4 just there, the original version and the Steelbook version. But if it comes down to, crunching space for shelf space, I probably shouldn't keep it, should I? Especially when it's just, like, let's be real, I'm pretty sure that Devil May Cry 4 is it was a £1.50 game. It's no loss to get rid of that, especially when that's never going to get played anyway, because the PS4 version of the game is the superior version because of its turbo mode and stuff like that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, a good portion of this video was recorded in my phone, so I'm going to have to work out how to get those files across and get them into this video, but it'll be fine. Dropbox. Anyway, see you guys later.